Welcome to Unlocking Moves, where we're going to cover the key decision points and pivotal moments that really change the trajectory of successful entrepreneurs and leaders. And I want to hear their real life stories, not just the glory stories, but also the gory stories. Because as I like to say, the bigger the shit show, the bigger the lesson. Speaking of stories, my guest today has a shit ton of stories on me because he's my older brother, Rolf. So Rolf, as you know, we like to kick off each show with a question to throw you for a loop.
Man, let's hear it, Kurt.
All right. So Rolf, you're a master promoter. I think no one would argue that. And if you harken back to February of 2020, you ran a promotion for Eureka Pizza where I could buy my lover $1,000 pizza with decadent toppings, including 24-karat encrusted Kobe beef. It had Madagascar vanilla poached lobster. It had Russian caviar and a bunch of other things. First of all, how in the hell did you come up with that idea? And second of all, did you sell any pizzas, Rolf?
Well, we never recommend buying the pizza for your wife and your girlfriend. So we started there that you should just choose one, and we typically recommend the wife. And, $1,000, that's a pretty cheap price of showing your love these days. And, it's kind of like you got the doctor-patient relationship with the pizza customer relationship's even stronger. We can't reveal any data. We wouldn't want anybody, snooping around and getting anybody in trouble. But let me tell you, it was a heck of a pizza. If you didn't get it, you missed out.
There you go. There's my brother, master promoter. So as you can hear today, my guest is my brother, Rolf Wilkin, who is a very successful entrepreneur in his own right. And I think he knows this, but he is the big inspiration for me becoming an entrepreneur. So it's great to have him. He spent the last 30 plus years with Eureka Pizza, growing that into a Northwest Arkansas powerhouse. He's also got a barter exchange called Local Trade Partners. And then recently he's kicked off a new concept called PopUp, the original Drink Thru. And he's flashing his t-shirt, which is one of the flavors of their drink called the Gold Digger. So we want to talk about that for sure. Rolf, welcome to Unlocking Moves.
It is awesome to be with you, Kurt. I've been loving your podcast, loved your book, and love you a lot. So I can't wait to have some fun with you today.
If you're just joining us on Unlocking Moves, today's episode is brought to you as usual by Hire Better, the strategic talent partner for growth-minded entrepreneurs everywhere. Well, we might tell a couple of childhood stories, which might get us in trouble, but we're going to have some fun today for sure. So Rolf, you've got a great story. You were a bartender for the Bengal in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in college. You've gone through your 35 or so year career all the way up to really being a business icon in not just the Northwest Arkansas area, but all of Arkansas. Tell us a little bit about your journey and really any surprises along the way.
I am the world's luckiest man here in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas. A kid from LSU and Baton Rouge to find a home up here and have a family and be a part of the community. You couldn't ask for anything better. So I was a student at LSU, and really I think it helped you, but I fell in with a bunch of entrepreneurs, including our dear friend Albert Pellichet, and he inspired me to be an entrepreneur, and I think that might have inspired you a little bit. But we kind of started an early Facebook. We started a fraternity sorority phone book, and so we didn't have the vision that Mark had, but we had vision though. And so we started that, but Baton Rouge was pretty competitive, and you were a student up here loving Fayetteville. And so you made the mistake probably of inviting me up here and said, boy, we don't have anything like that in Fayetteville. So that's all I had to hear. I invited myself up. You're like, holy crap, I moved 12 hours away to get away from my brother. And the son of a gun is right here with me. So I came on up. I think I borrowed your car of all things. I had $500 and I just checked out Fayetteville, 88. So what a great place. I started my barter career by trading, of course, for a really cool studio apartment. It was actually a townhouse apartment, probably the best apartment I ever had, and traded it. And then the guy assumed I was a junior rep for a little collegiate publishing company. And so I went with that. And then I started cold calling. And I'll tell you, anybody listening, if you want to get your start, maybe your kids, friends, man, cold calling, of course, that's just knocking on doors or walking right in and doing your pitch. And you get rejected a lot. You always hear that's the way to find women to date too. And so I don't know anything about that, but I think the more you handle rejection, the better you handle business. So that's how I got my start, just cold calling for ads. I had one of the first Macintosh computers, did my own desktop publishing, and I was able to pull this off as a student at the other university, 12 hours away. And I did that for a couple of years, ended up graduating. And I said, heck, I'm going to move to Fayetteville full time.
So let's pause there for a second. You got your career start. You really borrowed an idea from your friend Albert Pellichet in Baton Rouge. You went up to Fayetteville to do the same thing, a sorority fraternity phone book, and a coupon book, if I remember correctly. You knocked on doors. You were fresh into town. You didn't know anybody, so you basically created your own opportunity with $500 and your brother's borrowed car.
That's
I want
right.
that on record, by the way.
Absolutely. So the coupon book was bigger for me than the Greek directory. You ended up doing the Greek directory. And so my coupon book went to all 14,000 students at a time. I take a lot of credit for what I've done in Fayetteville. Now there's over 30,000 students, and that certainly happened after I got here.
There you go. Rolf Wilkin is created at University of Arkansas, doubled it in size.
Absolutely. No, more double now. So, but yeah, I did that. And then I stumbled into the pizza business. I went in to pitch an ad to a company, King Pizza. And they said, man, we don't need this. We're shutting our business down. And, you know, I was always encouraging, always enthusiastic. I said, you got to be kidding me. You're a few blocks from the biggest university in Arkansas. Man, you got to give this a try and make it work. And they're like, we don't want to do it anymore. We're crushed. We're done. Stick a fork in this. And I said, you know, I ought to buy this place. They said, you ought to. And so, you know, it's pretty easy to buy and negotiate when you're broke. And so he threw out $40,000, and that was pretty obvious back then. That was way too much. And I countered, I think, was it $7,000? No, I countered at 7. He threw out 10, and we did the classic chainsaw that beautiful baby in half. And for $8,500, I was suddenly in the pizza business in Fayetteville.
Oh, that's awesome. So you basically bought a guy who was desperate to get out. You took over his pizza, I think maybe even chain at the time, definitely store. It's very similar to how I bought Higher Better. The founder was ready to give it up, and I didn't buy it for $8,500, but definitely resonates. So, okay, now you're in the pizza business, and that was 35 years ago. So I want to hear some more of your story, but let's pause. I want to go back to your marketing capabilities. As I said, you're a master promoter. You did what I would call I'll call it a bullshit promotion for $1,000 pizza, but maybe you sold one or two. I'm not really sure, but you got some good press because I saw it in the Arkansas Business Journal and others. But you also you guaranteed your customers a win when Arkansas, who was very, very lowly at the time, played Alabama, who was maybe undefeated for 10 years. You guaranteed Arkansas a win. And if I remember correctly, that got you a mention on ESPN. Tell me about that promotion.
We got in the Wall Street Journal. We got a live commercial essentially on ESPN at halftime, and we were ahead of Alabama when the show ran during the halftime of the game. And we were getting busy. It was going to be 1,000 pizzas we were giving away. We annoyed some people and made new friends at the University of Arkansas, but I've been here longer than they have for the most part, and so we're all friends. And so I think we kissed and made up. But no, that was great publicity, and we were raring to give those pizzas away. So yeah, it's always about getting attention, right? And they say money follows attention. So that's been kind of my angle with my pizza business.
I love it. There's some promotional ideas for you entrepreneurs out there who are looking to try to do something. Be creative, be unique, be different. And Rolf did another promotion, which may have gotten him some hot water with the university. The university was installing a new field turf on the field, and they had a bunch of it sitting outside the stadium. And if I remember correctly, you took a big swath and cut them into 1-inch chunks and sold them as part of your pizza promotion or something like that.
Kurt, you and I are both Eagle Scouts, and we've always been a big part of the sustainability community. So we hated seeing that stuff in the dumpster. And so we just can't go to our landfill. And so we rescued it, and we said, reuse or reuse the product, right, or recycle it. And we thought reusing would be best. So we gave away genuine turf, a couple square inches at a time. That annoyed some people, but thrilled some people. Once people, I think, realized how harsh it was, they switched back to natural grass. So I think those players that have that sweet, soft natural grass ought to, maybe we had something to do with it. But yeah, that was a fun one too. That was 2012 when Arkansas went to the BCS Sugar Bowl and played Ohio State.
That's awesome. So as you can tell, Rolf is a master promoter, and he's also a little sarcastic with the saving the boys with their injuries. Rolf, I want to do my one dive into a childhood memory, which I spoke with my sister yesterday. We decided to go with this one, so I hope you're okay. I'm going to ask you now. You've won awards ranging from 40 under 40, which I'm sure was many years ago. You've also won Young Entrepreneur. You were the Arkansas Business of the Year back a while back. So you've won many awards, but I want to go back to when you were, I'm going to guess around 12 years old. No, you were probably younger than that, probably call it 8 years old. And your family was on a vacation in the upper Midwest, driving through the state of South Dakota. And if I remember correctly, you were annoying the living shit out of your siblings and your parents. Your mom pulled over and said, if you don't stop it, I'm going to let you out of the car and make you walk. And if I recall, She put you on the side of the highway and made you walk a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about that story? And are you going through counseling right now still about that?
Well, a key part of negotiation is you want to feel out where the limits are, right? And that's really important, I think, as an entrepreneur. And so I doubt, in my mind, I was being hilarious, and I think my humor was probably a little advanced for the time. So, dear my sainted mother, I decided just to see where the limits are, and I think we all do that. The third rail, and sometimes in negotiation we screw up, right? And so that was a classic case of screwing up, right? But I learned a lot from it. I think I'm a better negotiator, and I think she came back after a couple hours there, in 103 heat, and picked me up and bought me an ice cream cone. So Mom, I love you, and I learned a lot about negotiation from you. So thank you.
Just in case you were wondering, my mom didn't drive more than 20 feet away, but he did learn a valuable lesson, and I love the fact that he said he learned how to negotiate and test those limits. That's a great life lesson, Ralph. Thank you for that. All right, let's switch gears. You've got two signs behind you. One is Eureka Pizza, which, as I mentioned, is a 32 or 5-year business that you've been working on, and the second is a hat you've got called PopUp, the original Drink Thru. I want to talk a little bit about Drink Thru because I know it really feels like the culmination of a life's work for you. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and how it came about and some of your plans for the future.
Man, that's a great question. And you wouldn't have one without the other, right? And I think when we look back on our lives, it really is your experiences that mold you. And sometimes it can be discouraging when you're not headed in the direction you want to. And I think taking stock of your life and realizing what you have instead of what you don't have, I think is powerful. And that's what I discovered with pizza. We're in a crowded category. I'm in a great life, 31 years now. And you're just like, but I think I've got a lot of skills, right? I got a lot of scars, and I can do something with this. And so we said, man, if we could create a new product category, which is it's hard to do, but it's big when you do it. And so we decided to create the Drink Thru category. And we do think we're the world's first Drink Thru. So we've combined both brands of soda, Coke and Pepsi products, which you wouldn't believe how many people think that's like illegal. It's not, I can assure you. So both brands of soda, we've created our own energy drink because we wanted it really perfect for customization. And then we've got our teas, we've got shakes, we've got chais, and we're having a really high-end cookie baked by a local baker after 31 years of baking. I didn't want to bake anymore. So we got the fun double drive-through, at least land for the first time, busy corner in beautiful Bentonville, Arkansas, which is 30 miles up the road or so. Super busy corner, high traffic. This is week 13. We're very excited where we are. We've got just a great band of baristas that are just fun folks and love their job. And we're open long hours. So 5:30 to 10 p.m. We already have these, get this, 7,400 people in our rewards program. And we're getting like twice a day customers. So we love the frequency. We love the fun. We built in a tipping culture so our baristas adore their job. And so that's what we're doing. Pop-up Drink Thru, hopefully coming soon to a busy corner near you.
Man, and that's awesome, Rolf. I know you've already gotten people reaching out to you wanting to franchise, and you're really excited about that. Kudos to you. And man, it's really fun to watch. I love how you said that what you've done over the last 31 plus years has been really the foundation. And even though it's been a struggle, it's really formed who you are and what you are. So now you're able to take that and apply it to PopUp. And it's just really exciting to watch. Really proud of you, man.
Thank you. I guarantee anybody listening right now, I don't care how old you are, young or old, the same thing that applies to you. It really is kind of the path God has put us on. And if you can take like your pain or your weaknesses or just the rough spots, I mean, I've had a great life. I'm not going to try to tell you I haven't, but if you take that and if you can make it an asset instead of a liability, baby, you're going to go far. And that's what our goal is. And I think PopUp's gone a lot better because I've learned a lot. I've been pushing the rope uphill for a long time. So I've learned a lot of ways how to screw things up. So
and I want to bottle what you just said. No matter what you've been through, the things, the scars, the wounds, the things you've been through have been formative for you, and it's really set you up for a great future. It's really the attitude that you have. If you have a positive attitude and use that to you and make it a strength, you're going to kick ass. If you wallow in it, you're going to be miserable. And so I love your positive attitude, Rolf.
Thank you.
All right. So I want to switch gears again. Now I want to talk a little bit about, I wrote a book called Who's Your Mike? A no bullshit guide to the people you'll meet on your entrepreneurial journey. Each chapter is a different character or archetype of somebody that you've had. Somebody like Mike, the title character, or Pipeline Paul, the big guy you bring in to save the day. Maybe Harry the hustler, who's your sales guy, turned sales leader. Tell me a little bit about your favorite character from the book, and maybe you have another character to add based on your 31-year journey.
I love all the characters. They really resonate with me, and I think it's a great lesson for everybody. But oddly enough, I think the first epilogue I've ever read was yours. And that's what resonated with me. Well, basically, I think you're quoting yourself, but you claim anonymity. Is that really all the bullshit, all the problem? Guess who? It's you. It's me. And so that's what resonated with me. And I think I've been pretty good about that. It's still a struggle every day because, we have pride. We don't want to blame ourselves, but man, if you don't take responsibility, you can't fix the problem. And so that's what resonated with me was your epilogue that just said, I'm always the freaking problem, right? And that's what it is. My baggage I brought from Eureka Pizza said, how can I make PopUp better? And then I realized wherever you go, there you are. And so you got to focus on that and say, man, I've got my strengths, but it's like going to a new school as a kid, right? You want to be the cool kid. You say, how can I change what I was at my old school? Hard to do, right? Because you're still yourself. But yeah, I think if you look yourself in the mirror and you blame yourself most of the time, you can get better. But if you don't, you blame other people because you can't fix other people, right? You fix yourself usually.
Wow. So what Rolf's talking about is the book is about employees that you've had and about some of the challenges and opportunities with them. But I wanted to address, hey, man, we can have the best person ever come join your company, but you might be screwing it up every time because I've seen it so many times with my career. So the epilogue is called When You're the Problem. And it's teed up to be the next book in the series. If there is a next book, if I have the courage to do it. But I'm glad you said that because I am part of the problem for sure. And I've had many clients that are part of the problem as well. So Rolf, we're at the part of the show where we talk about your unlocking move. And that is, again, it's that key pivotal moment or decision point that changed the trajectory of your career. My hope is to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs or leaders and how they can spot those opportunities and seize it rather than just sitting and letting it pass. Tell me a little bit about your unlocking move.
Yeah, and you look back and you look ahead, and there's always so much opportunity. But when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see. But mine was I get into the pizza business. I didn't know a damn thing about the pizza business, right? But I was curious. And I found just a bunch of old pizza magazines. I blew the dust off the cover and started reading them. I reached out to a fellow named Tom Lehman, the dough doctor for the American Institute of Baking. And I called this poor guy, and I think he regretted ever answering his phone. When we celebrate our 25th anniversary, he wrote me a letter to congratulate me. And he goes, Rolf, you were my first successful coaching client. And every afternoon, the phone would ring. I knew it'd be you. And all you did was ask questions. I said, man, I've told my kids since they were in kindergarten, the only stupid question is that you don't ask. And I think that was my unlocking move. And so I went to a seminar, learned how to make pizza dough, met a guy in Texas, in Temple, that was killing it, crushing the pizza business back in 92. I immediately became his little brother and, wormed my way underneath his little wing. And I started doing some of his stuff. And unlike my move, we started crazy stuff. Buy one, get two free. And that's how we put ourselves on the map. So that was one great unlocking move. And I'd say the next epic one is really coming up with PopUp, saying, you know what? I can just be another coffee shop. I can be a soda shop. But if you can create a new category, maybe that's where people get excited. And to see it come to fruition, 3 years, I installed a full laboratory in my office. And we studied this for 3 years at every drink. We took nothing for chance. Time and motion study. We mocked it up. We hired top branding firm, Verdant Studios, architects. And we said, how are we going to do this differently than from Eureka Pizza? So I'd say those are my two unlocking moves, but there's a lot of them in between. It's like a sandwich, right? 2 big slices of bread, but man, there's a lot of meat in between there. If you want to grow in life, you reach a point when you realize nobody's thinking of you at all because they're only thinking of themselves. So remember in college, you wanted to ask that question, or in any school situation, any situation, and you go, they're going to think I'm stupid if I ask that question. So if you can just say, I don't give a crap to think I'm stupid. I just want to know. You're going to have 10 people go, I didn't know that either, right? And 1% of the time, somebody's going to go, wow, you're an idiot. But 99% of the time, you're going to get it. So that's the key thing is asking questions and don't care what. Trust me, nobody thinks about you at all. And even it's worse in Instagram age, right? We're just thinking of ourselves. So if you just ask questions and don't care what people think, you're going to move ahead.
I love it. The only stupid question is a question that you don't ask. I love it. All right. The other thing is you mentioned this guy in Temple, and I happen to know his name, but you didn't mention his name. Do you want to give him a shout out on the show?
Yeah, Ed Cook.
Ed Cook. And the name of his pizza store at the time was?
Well, I'm not sure if it's still there. It was there a few years ago. Fast Eddie's. He got out of the pizza business a long time ago and moved to Colorado. I think he was in the banking business. I lost track of him, but Ed was a great guy and man, just a great promoter too. And he taught me a lot of things. And so that's the other thing. I just need to learn, right? And I think it's easier now with the internet, but it's actually harder, right? Because we all look stuff up, but it's still to travel to different markets and see what business you're in. If you're in the food business, pizza business, go to Denver and look at somebody's in the pizza business, right? But I think that's a great way to grow your business and grow your mind is to travel and to be curious.
Man, I'm going to say mentors is a big theme of today's call. You've mentioned three of them, Albert, Tom, and Eddie. So thanks for that. All right, Rolf. So I consider myself the listener's advocate. I want to ask, if I got Rolf Wilkin in front of me, what kind of questions do I want to ask him? And I really reflected on this question. I had a basic question I was going to ask, which was something about advice you give to aspiring entrepreneurs. But if I'm really honest, I want to know, give me some dirt on Kurt.
Oh, I'd say I've admired you for a very long time, probably well before you thought I admired you. But you've always been somebody who brings people together, and I guess that's really, a true salesman, or what a broker brings a buyer and seller together. You've always been without guile or without, the profit motive when it's not appropriate. Is a peacemaker, and probably because your older brother annoyed the shit out of you, right? But as a peacemaker, so that's when I think probably people know it. But let me tell you, I saw it start, as a little guy, and then also smart and also persistent as heck and doing crazy things. You went out and sold encyclopedias door to door. You sold. Did you sell knives? I don't think you sold knives, but
didn't sell knives. I did sell Greek directory. I've sold snow cones.
So I love a story from Kurt is when you're selling encyclopedias, I always say this to kids, who buys, and they don't even know what encyclopedias are, right? So you have to tell them, and is it the big house or the trailer park? Who's buying them? And then almost everybody says, oh, it's the big house because they're expensive, $1,000, $2,000+. And you told me a story. It's like, man, they're aspirational in the modest house. And the rich guy says, oh, I don't need that crap. The kids can go to the library. This is all crap. But the poor guy says, holy cow, this could be the ticket to unlock my kids' education. I am going to sacrifice and buy 3-4 feet of books for my shelf and spend a few $1,000. So that's what I don't think people know about you.
Rolf, so where else can we find out about Rolf or Eureka Pizza or PopUp?
Well, obviously, the internet's a great place to go. DrinkPopUp.com. You can see what we're up to there. And then, of course, EurekaPizza.com. And so our goal is we're about to start working on location number 2. Man, I've got a lot of money invested, but I've kept my sanity by it's an experiment, right? And so it's an experiment. So we're week 13, we're figuring out labor. We've kind of cracked the recruiting puzzle. And so I think we're going to get close to building location number 2. And then we're going to look for opportunities to grow it. But I think it is a unique category, and people are loving it. And I think we got wings on this one.
So I had some friends that drove by your location a few weeks ago, and they said the line was down the street. Like what's the biggest number of cars you've had in your line that you think so far?
Well, we decided I am a promoter, and I've decided my future is not as a promoter, it's as a brander. And I think branding over time, branding is more important now in 2023 than it was in 1992. So now we're so inundated with information, we can't just get a sales pitch from somebody, right? You need to trust the brand. We have so much stuff. So you go to Amazon, you need a brand. You go to the grocery store, it's a brand. And so that's what we built with PopUp. So we decided not to do price promotions, but when you're new, you still remember money follows attention. So how do we get attention? So man, I came with this like 2 weeks before the longest day of the year. So our summer solstice, we did 50% drinks all day long. And so that was our busiest day. I was hoping to have a drone. You got to have a drone, right? But unfortunately, we're near 2 airports. So the FAA would not give us clearance for the drone flight. But my gosh, did we have cars. We handled it incredibly. So we really feel comfortable in our ability to like triple our business. We know we have the capacity. And it's just, it's just one customer at a time, one drink at a time. It's just like pizza. It's one pizza at a time. You can overcomplicate it. You can feel sorry for yourself, or just go out with a smile and sell one more drink.
Well, I know you're getting a lot of attention with PopUp. So check it out at drinkpopup.com. So Rolf, is there anything else you'd like to add? Is this your opportunity to give me whatever you want?
I love your podcast. I think you're doing a great service. And there's a lot of podcasts out there, right? But yours stands out. And most of them really suck because, it's a talent to do this. And most people don't have it. And so when you told me you were doing this, I knew you were going to do it right. But man, have I been pleasantly surprised at, you keep it zippy and fun, and you move on and you keep it clipping. And so I think it's awesome. And I think your book, I know you spent a lot of time on it. And I think it really is a classic business book. I think you can get better by doing this, because you are going to meet these people. Trust me, you're going to meet people, and it's pretty fun to look back on your life and go, whatever happened to this guy, And one thing I found too, I don't care who you are, pride motivates everybody, and you can have the roughest person ever, your pizza cook, that when his pride or her pride is wounded, man, they would almost give up their lives to get it back. And I think that's really what's motivating everybody, is like Pipeline Paul, that pipeline is so important to him. So I think if you read these archetypes, and read these characters and realize what's motivating each one of them. But you got to have a bullshit detector, right? If you don't, that's when you fall into all that. But I think if you always tune up your bullshit detector and then remember pride is driving you, you're going to love.
And that's, by the way, that's the nicest thing my brother's ever said about me. So thank you very much. Hey, on that note, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Please go like and subscribe on YouTube, and please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple, wherever you consume your podcast. Rolf, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much.
I love the opportunity, Kurt. See you on the podcast.
If you're an entrepreneur and you think you might have outgrown a member of your team, or maybe you've got a mic, as we talked about in Who's Your Mic, check out this quiz at who'syourmic.com/quiz. That's who'syourmic.com/quiz.